كل مكان، أهلا ومرحبا بكم. احنا معكم النهاردة داخل سفارة الارجنتين لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. هنتحدث عن الارجنتين كدولة وعن الشعب الارجنتيني، وايضا على ما يميز الارجنتين او الاقتصاد الارجنتيني، وايضا التجارة ما بين البلدين. لو عايزين تعرفوا كل ده واكتر يبقى تابعونا في هذا الحوار الخاص مع سعادة السفير إدواردو فارييلا، سفير جمهورية الارجنتين لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. فابقوا معنا وتابعونا. مشاهدينا في كل مكان، اهلا بكم. احنا معاكم النهارده داخل سفارة الارجنتين في لقاء خاص مع سعادة السفير إدواردو فارييلا، سفير جمهورية الارجنتين لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. Your Excellency, first allow me to thank you so much for this meeting.
No, thank you. I mean, it's an honor, and it's also something we value very much. We value very much the possibility to have this sort of direct contact with the Egyptian public.
Your Excellency, at the beginning we would like to have a hint about your diplomatic stations before coming here to Egypt.
Well, I have a long career. I served in different regions, started in China many years ago. Then I was consul I worked in our embassy in Beijing. From then I went to Australia. I was deputy consul in Sydney, Australia. Then we have this system in which we stay for a while outside of the country, and then we come back. So I came back to Argentina. Then I went to Geneva, Switzerland. I stayed there like 7 years. Then come back to Argentina. Then Italy. I was deputy ambassador in Italy for 6 years, and then here. I mean, I'm already more than 5 years here in Egypt.
This is the first country in the Middle East.
Yes.
How do you see it so far?
No, well, I love it.
Between Europe and
no, I mean, it's my professional experience. We can say was quite varied. I mean, I had different experience in different regions, different cultures, which is something that I appreciate very much. I learned a lot in every post. I did consular work, diplomatic, bilateral diplomacy, and I also had the possibility of doing some multilateral diplomacy experience in Geneva. And now, I mean, I'm very happy with my experience here in Egypt because, I mean, the value of the country, the importance of the country, the high level of Egyptian diplomacy, how important Egypt is in the region, and of course at the level of the bilateral relation, which is also very important for us.
I would like also to ask you about the geographical nature of your country, because we would like to make the Egyptian knows more about it.
Well, Argentina is a big country. We are in the southern part of South America. We have a sort of, how to say, longitudinal constitution. Let's say we go from north to south. So we have it's a big country. I mean, we have like more than 3 million square meters, which is like 3 times the size of Egypt. But our population is half Egyptian population. We are more or less 50 million inhabitants in Argentina. We have different weather, different climates, different landscape. It goes from, tropical in the north to very cold in the south. And we have mountains, we have this desert, we have beaches. So it's quite varied kind of geography. And we have our history is completely different from that of Egypt. Egypt has a long tradition, very long tradition of very strong civilization and rich history. Our is shorter, but still quite intense. We used to be a colony of Spanish economy, and we got our independence in the beginning of 19th century. So our life to independence is a bit more than 200 years.
Is there any mineral resources in Argentina that you want to talk
about? Many.
Such like the things that you export, the standards that in Argentina
We have a middle, let's say, we are a developing country. We have a sort of middle income. Our gross domestic product is not much bigger than the Egyptian one, but because our population is smaller, our per capita income is higher than Egypt. Our economy we have a very strong agricultural sector. We are a very efficient producer of food, basically. We have also a quite important industry, particularly in different areas, but particularly in the automotive sector. We have services. We have quite developed a lot in the area of services. We made some important inroads in some areas of high technology, particularly in nuclear technology, nuclear energy technology. And also lately we've been capable of developing some unicorns, some quite relevant business in the area of knowledge-based economy. So it's quite, again, because it's somehow related to the geography I try to describe to you. Our economy is also have different aspects, different elements.
Can I ask
about? No, yeah. And you mentioned at the beginning mining, mineral. Yeah, we have all kind of mineral, but particularly we are very rich in something that is becoming very important for the global economy, which is lithium, which is used for microprocessors and all the digital industry needs as a critical input lithium, and Argentina is a big producer of lithium.
And you export it also?
We are starting to export,
It's amazing in export.
Yeah, our exports are basically agricultural commodities. It's been like this historically and still is. I mean, our main source of foreign currency is coming from our agricultural sector.
About the Argentinian people, I would like to know more about their traditions and customs, more things about the Argentinian people.
The Argentinian, in a way, it has some similarities with Egypt in the sense that we are a mix of different people. There is an aboriginal base, aboriginal people that were there before the arrival of the Europeans. We were, as I said before, we were colonized by the Spanish people, so our language is Spanish. Our religion is basically Catholic, but we do have minorities, particularly Jews and Muslims. So then we received in the second part of the 19th century and the first part of the 20th century, we received a lot of immigration from everywhere in the world, but particularly from Europe, and more specifically from Italy and Spain. But we have foreign communities for all origins. This is one of the richness of Argentina, this capacity of bringing people, absorbing them. And the beauty of Argentina is that all these people in a few years, in one generation, they are already fully Argentinians. And you don't find any differences between, people coming from Italy or Spain or wherever. From the Middle East, we have a very important Arab community coming particularly from Lebanon and Syria, and they are fully integrated into the mainstream society. In the 90s, we have a president who was Syrian. I mean, first generation. I mean, his parents were from Syria. We have this. Which is very, very, I mean, something that I like it very much from my country, and I feel proud of it, this capacity of absorbing people coming from different origins and making them, in a very short period of time, making them fully Argentinian.
Does it also makes the main reason to have the Argentinian tourist destination successful because of, as you said, it's an looks like an international living and behaviors.
Yeah, well, it's quite cosmopolitan, yes, and we have, as tourist attraction, we have landscapes. We don't have monuments like you have here. We don't have pyramids or, Karnak or...
Special in Egypt, that's for
okay,
sure.
no, but some other Latin American countries, they have a richer history in pre-Columbian times. In the times previous to the arrival of the Europeans, some countries, some territories in our region in Latin America have developed quite sophisticated civilizations like the Aztecs or the Incas. It's not the case of Argentina, so we don't have these sort of monuments, but we have beautiful nature. As I told you before, from rainforest to desert to mountains to beaches, that's our main asset as a touristic place. Then we have our culture, and many people feel strongly attracted to tango, for example, which is one of our most important cultural expressions. And then
it's a culture, Argentinian culture, and it's already spread all over the world.
Actually, it's common heritage of the humanity declared so by the UNESCO, so it belongs to everyone. Even here, it's interesting because here in Egypt, in Cairo, and even in Alexandria, there are places where people go to dance tango, and to learn tango. It's a global passion. But it comes from there, from what we say, because we have this dispute with the Uruguayans, our neighbors, about the origin of tango, and we tend to say that it's not from Argentina or not from Uruguay, but from the Rio de la Plata, which is the river that so divide and get us together.
The relationship between the Argentinian people and the sports are very special, especially if we talk about football. Argentine national team is well known everywhere, and also some of the most famous football players are from Argentina, like Maradona and Messi. So can you please tell us more about this kind of relationship with the football itself as a sport?
Yeah, well, football is very important in Argentina. It's a passion, and this is something that gets us close also to Egypt, because here football is also, they live very passionately the experience of football. Yeah, football is very important, and we are lucky because, yes, we have the fortune of having some of the most important players in the history of football. You mentioned Maradona and Messi. Messi still going on, and probably, this coming World Cup in Qatar in a few months will be his last, so we are all confident that maybe this time we can get the World Cup. At least I'm very confident on that. But football is very important. Sport in general are important in Argentina. Football, of course, is the most popular sport in Argentina. But we have also tradition in other disciplines like basket. Rugby, for example, is another sport in which Argentina has reached a high level of competitiveness is rugby, which is also very popular and people live it with a lot of passion. I mentioned football, basketball. You know which sport is very important in Argentina? And actually, it's polo. And I like to say that polo is the unique human activity in which Argentina is number one in the world. And this is accepted by everyone in the world of polo. They know that Argentina has the highest level, both in players, in horses, in tradition. Polo is very important. The Open of the Argentine Republic, which is played every year in November, December in Buenos Aires, is like the Wimbledon of polo. And it's interesting that we find here a small but very, very enthusiastic community of polo players that allow us to take advantage of that and organize every year for the last 4 or 5 years the Embassy of Argentina Polo Cup. We did it this year in March, and it's already kind of a tradition in the polo season in Cairo.
And what about the women? Can you tell us more about the women's status in Argentina, please?
Well, women are, Argentinian women are very much involved in the fight for empowerment and the recognition of gender equality and their rights. And it's very active. The legislation of Argentina has been very receptive to this fight of women, so we can say that we are quite advanced in terms of legislative, in terms of national law regarding the status of women. And this is reflected in all sectors of activity, professionals, business, and even in politics. We have our vice president, our current vice president is a lady, Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner. He was president of the Republic for 2 terms, 2 periods. Before that, the vice president was also a lady. She visited Cairo in 2017. And we have 50% of our parliament is integrated by women. So still there is pending issues. Of course, the situation is not perfect, but we are making progress. And this is one of the areas in which we like to. We are doing that. We are cooperating with Egypt.
مشاهدينا في كل مكان، كده انتهى معكم لقائنا من داخل سفارة الارجنتين، وبالاخص كنا في ضيافة معالي السفير إدواردو فارييلا سفير جمهورية الارجنتين لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. تحدثنا عن دولة الارجنتين وعن ابرز الصناعات الموجودة فيها، وايضا تحدثنا عن دور المرأة والطبيعة الجغرافية لدولة الارجنتين وغيرها من المعلومات الهامة الخاصة بهذه الدولة الجميلة. أشكركم جدا لحسن المتابعة وإلى اللقاء.